A Limited obtained from BS Limited a lease of some coal-bearing land, the terms being a royalty of rupees 15 per ton of coal raised, subject to a minimum rent of rupees 75,000 per annum, with a right of recoupment of short workings over the first 4 years of the lease. So these are the terms and conditions. So A Limited obtained from BS Limited. So BS Limited here becomes the landlord and A Limited here becomes the lessee. Okay. Please stop talking. Dishpesh, please stop talking. From the following details show royalties account, short workings account and BS Limited account in the books of A Limited. So we are preparing accounts in the books of the lessee. Now they've given you, this is the difference in this problem. They've given you the years and the tons that are sold every year, and they've also given you the closing stock. Okay. Now we need to see how we are going to calculate the tons, or how many tons we are going to take here. Okay. So let's just start preparing this. Just write down all the years first. 1996, 1997, 1998, 1999 and 2000. So let's just take the, let's see what amounts come here. So let's just go through this again. A Limited obtained from BS Limited a lease of some coal bearing land, the term being a royalty of rupees 15 per ton of coal raised. So in the first year, how much am I going to write? We have to take the figure of coal raised. What have they given us? What are these figures they've given us? They've given us how much is sold, and they've also given us closing stock. Closing stock means what? They had raised a certain amount, but that did not get sold, and that is what has remained with them. So how are we going to get the coal raised here? How much will it be? Coal raised means what? How much is extracted in that year? How much has been extracted from the mine in that year? So how much will that be? 2000? I didn't hear. How much will it be? 1700, 2000, 2000? Huh? It should actually be 2300. Now why is it 2300? They said coal raised. What's the meaning of coal raised? These two here, please stop talking. The meaning of coal raised is the total coal that was extracted. They are not concerned with how much was sold, how much is left behind. They want to know the royalty has to be paid on the total coal raised. If they had said the royalty is to be paid per ton on the tons that are sold, that time we would have just taken 2000. But right now we are concerned with the coal raised. Is this clear, everyone? So in the first year we are going to have it as 2300. Next year, how much will it be? We are talking, think about coal raised. Think about coal raised. Now, in the second year, please pay attention. The tons that are sold are 3,500. Closing stock is 400. How are we going to get the coal raised? Yes. How did you get 3,600? Yes. Very good. Now, what has she done is the coal raised in 1997. Listen to me very carefully. I'm talking about the coal raised. Okay, that is how much was extracted. Now, they have told us 3,500 is sold. They have told us 3,500 is sold. In this 3,500, when they are selling, will they sell last year's closing stock as well? Will they sell last year's closing stock? Why would they keep that aside? That's the stock that's left. So when they are selling, they'll sell last year's as well as whatever is raised this year. So basically, this 3,500 includes what? Includes this 300, which was actually raised last year. So how much was raised in 1997? It's 3,500 minus last year's stock plus whatever is left this year. Is this clear, everyone? Why am I minusing this? Because in 1997, when you're selling, you won't only sell what you raised this year, but you'll also sell the closing stock, what you had extracted. What are you going to do with that if you don't sell it? You also sold that. So when you're calculating the output here or how much is raised, it's going to be 35. It's going to be 35 minus 300 plus whatever is left this year, 400. So that comes to 35 minus 300, that comes to 3,600. Okay, and we are going to call this output. So because that's what we are concerned with. That is what we are concerned with. What are we going to do in the next year? Next year, how much will it be? It's going to be 5,000. How did I get that 5,000? 4,800 minus 400 plus 600. Okay, and then in 1999 it will be 5,500. Yes, and then we have 8,000. Good. Any questions? Those online, any questions with regard to this? This is the only different thing in this problem. It's the only difference in this problem. Oh, somebody said something here. I can't hear you, Audrey. What? What did you say? Could you type the message? I can't hear you. Okay, repeat. Yes, fine. Okay. I think the first year is understood 2,300. How much is sold and how much was left? That is the total amount raised. But in the next year and the following years, what we have to do? 3,500 is the sales. Okay. Now, when you're selling, you'll sell what you raised this year plus if anything is left from last year's stock. So basically, this 3,500 includes the closing stock of last year. That's why I'm minusing 300 from 3,500. I'm minus 300 and 400 is what? 400 is the stock that is left this year. That's why I'm adding it to 3,500. I want to know how much was raised only, not how much was sold or how much was left. I want to know what is the total that was raised. In the first year, there was nothing to minus because there's nothing previously. Is that understood? Audrey? Okay. Anyone else has any questions? Fine. So now let's calculate the royalty. What have they told us? Rupees 15 per ton. So multiply 15 and tell me into each of these. 2,300 into 15. Quick. 34,500. Correct? Then 3,600 into 15. 54,000. 5,000 into 15. 75,000. 5,500 into 15. And 8,300 into 15. 1 lakh. 1,24,500. Okay. What have they told us about the minimum rent? It is 75,000 per annum. So write that every year. 75,000 per annum. Now remember the agreement for recoupment. Per annum with a right of recoupment of short workings over the first 4 years only. Now this is not next year, next 2 years, next 3 years or whatever. During the first 4 years, whatever recoupment has to take place either from 1996 to 1999. Okay, so by chance there are some short workings in 1999, you cannot recoup it in 2000. So whatever recoupment happens only in the first 4 years. Okay, so there's always a difference during and next. So try to get that difference. Till now we have been doing most of our problems say next 2 years, next 3 years. This problem says during the first 4 years. Okay, so short working surplus in the first year. Could you tell me this amount? Minus 34,500 from 75,000 and tell me. How much? 40,500. Okay. We can't recoup anything. So we carry forward everything because we've got the first 4 years to recoup. So we carry forward 40,500. When does the transfer to P&L account? When we know for sure we cannot recoup. But we right now we have 3 more years to do it. Okay. So payment to landlord here will be 75,000. Next one, 54. Again, there is a short working of how much? 21,000, I think. 21,000. Cannot recoup anything. So how much will we carry forward now? How much? How much will I carry forward? 40,500 plus 21,000. 61,500. Am I going to transfer anything to P&L? Am I going to transfer anything to P&L? No. When do I transfer to P&L? Only when I know that a part of the short working cannot be recouped anymore. That's when I transfer it. I still have 2 more years. Okay, so payment to landlord here will be 75. Now, in the third year, there is neither a short working nor a surplus. Okay, so we cannot recoup anything again. How much will we carry forward? 61, because I still have another year, 4 years. During the first 4 years, so I'm going to carry the entire amount forward. So I don't need to transfer anything to the P&L account. Payment to landlord will be 75,000. And in the in the fourth year now, what we have? We have a surplus of 7,500. Sorry. It's a surplus of 7,500. How much can we recoup? How much can we recoup? You have a surplus of 7,500. How much can we recoup? I said what? Recoup what? Meaning recover. You can recoup. Recoup is a word I keep repeating. It's recover. Recover your losses. You have losses right now of how much? 61,500. Right now you have a surplus. So how much can we recoup at the most? 7,500 only. Okay. So are we going to carry forward the balance or transfer it to P&L account? Transfer it. Why transfer it? Because this is the last year. I cannot carry it forward. Even if I know I'm getting a huge surplus here, I cannot carry it forward because it says only first 4 years. So carried forward is nil. How much is going to be transferred? 61,500 minus 7,500 is 54,000, I think. Check. And payment to landlord will be 75,000. See, payment to landlord is royalty or minimum rent, whichever is higher. So here in these 3 years, it has been, in these 2 years, it has been minimum rent. Third year, it's been equal, so it's the same. Here it is, royalty is higher, but what have we used? That excess we have used for recoupment. Then I would have carried forward this 54,000. Instead of transferring it to P&L, say if they said during first 5 years, I would have carried forward this 54,000 instead of transferring it to P&L. Not last year. The moment you know that it cannot be recouped or recovered in the next year, that's when you transfer it to the P&L account. Now all these years I didn't transfer it. Why? Because I knew I had till the fourth year to recoup. They said 4 years. If that said during first 5 years, I would have carried it forward, and whatever in case I couldn't recoup, I would have transferred that to P&L account in the fifth year. Okay. So in the fifth year, even though we have a huge surplus, how much is it? 25 plus 49,500, I think. 49,500. I can't recoup anything. Anyway, I've carried forward. And how much will this be? How much will you pay now? How much will you pay the landlord now? much will you pay? What is the rule? Minimum rent or royalty, whichever is higher. Yeah, 1 lakh, the entire 1 lakh goes out of that. You not use anything for recoupment. So the entire amount goes to the landlord. So 1 lakh 24